The world held its breath. Millions watched and prayed, their eyes glued to screens, their hearts pounding with anticipation. In homes, cafes, and public squares, people from all walks of life gathered, united by a shared sense of expectancy. Then from the ancient chimney atop St. Peter's Basilica, a plume of white smoke ascended, reaching towards the heavens. This age-old signal, steeped in tradition, conveyed a message that transcended language and borders. A new pope had been chosen. The announcement reverberated through the air, a moment that would be etched in the annals of history. The crowd erupted in cheers, gasps, and fervent whispers. Faces lit up with joy, tears streamed down cheeks, and strangers embraced, sharing in the collective euphoria. The question lingered in the minds of the faithful: who would lead the Catholic Church into the uncharted waters of the 21st century? Every second felt like an eternity as the world waited with bated breath. The tension in St. Peter's Square was palpable. Then finally, the majestic doors of the basilica swung open. A hush fell over the crowd. Every eye fixed on the balcony as Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re, the senior cardinal deacon, stepped forward. His presence commanded attention. His voice, resonant with emotion, echoed across the square. The declaration sent ripples through the crowd. The name he spoke carried historic significance. His Eminence Luis Antonio Cardinal Tagle, Archbishop Emeritus of Manila, was now Pope Francis II. The announcement was met with a mix of surprise and joy. From the bustling streets of Manila to the quiet villages of Europe, the news spread like wildfire. A wave of joyous disbelief washed over the faithful. For the first time in history, the leader of the Catholic Church hailed from Asia. It was a moment of immense pride and significance for millions. This was no ordinary transition. It symbolized a new direction, a fresh perspective for the Church. It was a seismic shift, a momentous turning point in the long and storied narrative of the Catholic Church. The dawn of a new era had begun, filled with hope, promise, and endless possibilities. The significance of this moment transcended the immediate, reaching far beyond the confines of Vatican walls. It was a testament to the universality of the Church, a vivid illustration of its global reach and influence. Pope Francis II's ascension was not just about geography. It was about a new chapter, a fresh vision, and a renewed sense of purpose. Luis Antonio Tagle's journey to the papacy was one of humility, faith, and unwavering devotion. Born in 1957 in Imus, Philippines, he was raised in a devout Catholic family. From a young age, his path was illuminated by a profound connection to his faith. He pursued his priestly vocation with quiet determination, earning a doctorate in theology from the Catholic University of America. His intellectual prowess was undeniable, but it was his empathy, his genuine warmth, and his unwavering commitment to the marginalized that truly set him apart. As Archbishop of Manila, Tagle became known for his tireless advocacy for the poor and the voiceless. He walked with the downtrodden, offering solace and support. His compassion resonated far beyond the walls of the cathedral. He spearheaded initiatives to combat poverty and inequality. He championed the rights of migrants and refugees. His commitment to social justice was deeply rooted in his faith. He saw Christ in the suffering, the marginalized, and the forgotten. Beyond the Philippines, Tagle's leadership extended across the world. As president of Caritas Internationalis, he coordinated the Catholic Church's global relief and development efforts. His work touched the lives of millions, embodying the Church's mission to serve the most vulnerable. His vision for the Church was one of radical inclusivity and compassionate engagement with the modern world. He envisioned a Church that was not confined by its walls but extended its reach to every corner of society, touching lives and making a difference. He believed in building bridges, not walls. For him, the essence of the Church lay in its ability to connect people, foster understanding, and promote unity among diverse communities. Tagle called for a Church that listened more than it spoke, a Church that embraced dialogue and welcomed diversity. He emphasized the importance of open doors where everyone felt welcomed and valued, regardless of their background or beliefs. His papacy promised to usher in an era of renewal and reform, breathing new life into the Church. making it more relevant and responsive to contemporary challenges. One of his foremost priorities was addressing the deep-rooted challenges of clericalism and sexual abuse within the Church. He was committed to transparency and accountability, ensuring that the Church would be a safe haven for all. He pledged to prioritize the needs of the marginalized, the environment, and the voiceless. His mission was to ensure that the Church stood as a beacon of hope for those often overlooked and forgotten. The Catholic world watched with anticipation as Pope Francis II embarked on his mission. His leadership aimed to reclaim the moral authority of the Church in a world grappling with complex ethical dilemmas. His message was clear. The Church must be a force for good, advocating for justice, compassion, and inclusivity. The news of Cardinal Tagle's election resonated around the globe, sparking jubilation and cautious optimism. From the streets of Manila to the hallowed halls of the Vatican, people celebrated the dawn of a new era. World leaders, religious figures, and ordinary citizens alike expressed their hopes for a papacy marked by compassion, dialogue, and a renewed focus on social justice. Pope Francis II's papacy held the promise of bridging divides within the Church and beyond. His emphasis on dialogue and understanding resonated with those yearning for a more inclusive and welcoming Church. He called for greater recognition and acceptance of LGBTQ+ individuals, emphasizing the inherent dignity of every human being. He encouraged open discussion on the role of women in the Church, recognizing their invaluable contributions and leadership potential. His papacy also signaled a turning point in the Church's approach to pressing global issues. He used his moral authority to advocate for peace and reconciliation in conflict zones worldwide. He challenged global leaders to address climate change, calling it a moral imperative to protect the planet for future generations. He condemned all forms of injustice, discrimination, and oppression, reminding the world of the inherent dignity of every human life. As Pope Francis II, Tagle's leadership promised to be a powerful force for good on the global stage. He aimed to leverage the Church's vast network to promote peace, justice, and human flourishing. His papacy was a beacon of hope, a promise of a more just and compassionate future. The legacy of Pope Francis II had begun, shining as a guiding light for the Catholic Church and the world. His journey from the bustling streets of Manila to the heart of the Vatican stood as a testament to the universality of faith and the transformative power of true servant leadership. With his leadership, the Catholic Church was poised to embrace a new chapter, one filled with hope, renewal, and an unwavering commitment to serving humanity.